So for this video, it's going to be actually relatively short. I only have like 3 passages to talk about. So it's going to be a very quick one, and there's not really too much to discuss, but I just want to highlight this one common theme for this video, which is the confidence on Jesus Christ and his return. So within Christianity, I understand that a lot of people, especially newcomers that come into this faith, have that worry and doubt that somehow, some way, some shape or form, along the way, they'll start to have these doubts that, they're still with God or they're even saved to begin with. And we'll just go with a couple passages that really just touch about this idea that the attitude towards that is completely opposite and not really found within scripture, that, a lot of people had this worry and concern that shouldn't be a thing in the first place. Um, yeah, so let's go with Philippians 1:6. Being confident of this very thing, that he that which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. So one of those counter arguments into this idea that God provided this salvation so you can be with Him forever. One of those arguments stem from essentially saying like, okay, once you become saved, there's nothing else afterwards. You just remain idle or just do nothing towards it. Now, eternal security just handles about nothing can jeopardize your salvation. Anything else is just a completely separate matter. But even if we're going to accept this question, because we're not trying to avoid it, Christ is the one that's working within us into our necessary needs of God's, standpoint. He molds us into His image and to His likeness, so we become more like Him in terms of qualities, characters, and virtues, not ontologically like God. So there's like a huge distinction there. And even if people don't do anything afterwards, there are instances like the thief on the cross who didn't have enough ample time to exercise or show evidence of God and his trust and his belief in Him, and to show that what happened afterwards. Of course, he was hung there to dry, so it's assumed that he died alongside with Christ before or afterwards. I really don't know. The Bible doesn't really specify in the details, but what it does know is that he was able to make it into heaven, or a larger extent be with Christ forever, eternally, just by him confining in the same sense that it's asking you to confide. And so here Paul is essentially just conveying the exact same thing, being confident of this very thing. That's him just talking about him being so sure that whatever he is that is going to work through us, it's going to see through at the end of the day. Regardless if we cannot fathom him, we cannot understand it, we cannot see into the future, or we don't even have the exact same confidence that Paul is conveying. It's a guarantee that Christ, through us, with us, he is going to do whatever is necessary, what he sees fit. It's not even up to us, retroactively speaking. It's up to God at the end of the day what he decides to do with his sons and daughters. Okay, so similar fashion, we're going to read 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 12. For the which cause I also suffer these things. Nevertheless, I am not ashamed, for I know whom I have believed, and am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I have committed unto him against that day. So, really, that day, the day of Jesus Christ, the day of redemption, they kind of all refer to the same thing, eschatology wise, during the end times where God is going to come back, gather his church, and then gather all those people within those 7 years, and to separate the wheat from the tares, the sheep from the goats, kind of thing. So, this is something he's always been doing. And we're rapidly approaching towards that time where it's going to become more apparent, and the finality of it, right? But again, Paul is using the same similar language, where not only is he persuaded into believing the gospel, but other aspects as well, that he is able to finish what he has started. So Paul is entrusting with God something with everything that pertains to him, his life included. And so, with that being said, Paul, writing half of the New Testament, essentially, why are you giving heed to opposite of what he is conveying? So, if Paul is able to trust, why shouldn't you be able to trust the same manner? Paul is no exception. He's just like every other believer within Christ. He comes from a very dark background, that he actually persecuted and killed Christians up until he actually found the Lord. So he's able to use anybody, including a murderer or the worst of the worst that you can possibly conceive. And that person is able to trust God in the absolute sense of the word. So I think those are pretty understandable standards that is often missed, and somehow we're just giving heed to fallacious arguments because we're just allowing doubt to enter our minds and not make this relevant or the case. Um, just like how Paul's expressing here. So same thing, same book, Second Timothy chapter 2, verse 19. Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal. The Lord knoweth them that are his, and let everyone that nameth in the name of Christ depart from iniquity. So that's actually quite interesting. There's like a thing that's happening here. We're making a choice that, okay, we're forsaking our sin, and thank you for taking care of the penalty for God, and we're no longer associated with that same thing. We're no longer identified. It's not our pertaining to us anymore. Even though we're susceptible at any given moment, we can either obey or sin, disobey, or etc. etc. It's always constantly making a choice. So we're to make the choice to secure our eternity forever with God. Other matters and subjects besides that is a whole completely separate thing. We still have to choose daily to pick up our cross, deny ourselves, and anything what it really describes with fellowship and discipleship of God, because that's a completely separate matter that's also not guaranteed. Just because somebody's a son of God doesn't mean that they're a disciple. They have their volition to either go with aligning their will with God or completely go against it. It's up to them in every single instance, like this included. I could do a couple of things. I decided to serve the Lord because I love Him, honestly. So they just to give you food for thought that there's the thing that we have this assurance, we have this something to hope for, and of course our confidence is not within ourselves, our abilities, or merit. It's really just God able to keep his word, because who is better to trust with a being who not only cannot lie but refuses to do so, and we're trusting him with our heart, mind, and soul, essentially. So like I said, this is a relatively short video. Hopefully you enjoy it and that made sense to you. Hopefully this actually expand um, your assurance within Christ and really just disillude any doubts that you may have. Hopefully, you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comment down below. Feel free to reach out to me. Check out my description for my notes, ways to support, also the social medias that I've been into. Come join our Bible studies. And if you like to have any civil discussions and just hash things out with any particular topic, really just not internal security, really, feel free to reach out. Check out my other stuff. Thank you for watching once again. You know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, share, etc., etc. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care and stay blessed.